Hi, welcome to this new video of Yom Vertigo, where today we will be talking about the topic that grey does not exist. Don't worry, the color grey exists. We certainly see it in the color grading of movies that look like a grey Dragon Ball wasteland. What I mean is that our ability to understand that a movie, a series, or a story can simply be fine seems to have disappeared. The idea to have a grey matter opinion that is not black or white seems to have disappeared. For us, the audience, a piece of media is either the greatest thing ever created, a masterpiece that deserves to be cherished for generations to come, or it is such a piece of garbage that it belongs in the deepest depths of hell, where Dante should probably add an entirely new circle just to accommodate it. And I speak no hyperbole. Now, I don't feel sad for the state of movies, journalism, and ideas. What I do feel sad is that my second favorite detective of all time, Monsieur Hercule Poirot, who would be terribly disappointed by the ways in which we are not using our little grey cells, as he would eloquently put it. So, let's try to understand where this problem lies and whether there is any solution to it. Now, before we go any further, I want to clarify something, and that something is actually just one thing. This video is going to be primarily about movies, but you can see this kind of thinking practically everywhere. For example, you are either a staunch supporter of vegetarian food or an ardent believer that meat is the only source of protein, or how you are either completely against the government and deserve to be thrown into the towns of Liari, or you are so subservient that you cannot see a single flaw in anything that the government does, or how you are either a misogynist who does not understand women, or you are such a staunch feminist that apparently killing a person is suddenly justified for the greater good. But I digress. Let us stick to the movies because that's the best thing I talk about. Because as the great Ramadhir Singh rightfully said, हिंदुस्तान में जब तक सिनेमा है लोग बनते रहेंगे. So let us take a look at some examples on how we as an audience need to calm our heads and think for a second. Yes, I know brain rot and AI have made the word thinking obsolete, but I implore you, just think. For example, I think we can reasonably admit that the first Dhurandhar is probably as close as we are going to get to seeing a kind of real world example of Mossad operation being done in India. We can also reasonably agree that the film is a masterclass in creating tension, creating grounded characters who are morally grey in nature. See what I did there? Grey, and how it builds suspense over the course of 3 hours, which is excellent to say the least. At the same time, we can reasonably admit to the fact that the lines given by R. Madhavan's character Ajay Sanyal about how a future government might make things better feel less like a dialogue that a human would say and more like a commentary being delivered to the audience. And somehow, all of these things can be true at the same time. You can admire what a film is doing while criticizing what it is trying to say. It is completely justified. And you can do the same thing with Animal. How you can enjoy the carnage, the sound design, the score, the performances, and the sheer audacity of the film. And you can also criticize how the film has written its female characters with roughly the same gravitas and importance that Christopher Nolan gives to his female leads. And let me tell you the biggest shocker that you will ever hear in this entire video, and that is you are allowed to have these opinions while also liking a movie. You are allowed to say, I enjoyed this movie, but I think this part was badly written. You are allowed to say, I hate what this movie is trying to say, but it is extremely well made. You are even allowed to say, this movie is objectively not very good, but I had a fantastic time watching it. Me while watching My Tera Hero, but it is a fantastic film. Because look, My Tera Hero is secretly the greatest film ever made, but I cannot say this in public because then my pretentious cinephile license might get revoked anytime. But the last point of Main Tera Hero is particularly important because you can like a bad movie and you can dislike a good movie. You can love half of a movie and hate the other half. What makes you a moron is not disliking a movie. What makes you a moron is deciding that an entire film is worthless because you dislike, say, 2 dialogues. Or deciding that a movie is perfect just because you liked an actor in that film. Me with every Shah Rukh Khan film, but hey, I'm a big fan, I can't help it. Or deciding that a film is automatically bad because you disagree with the opinion or the ideas that it is trying to share. That is what makes you a moron and not able to understand the grey matter because, well, newsflash buddy, every film is a product of somebody's perspective. Every filmmaker has opinions. Every film contains assumptions about the real world that the filmmaker deems to be accurate and true to their vision. For example, you can view Heather as a left-wing propaganda sympathizing with extremism. You can view Wake Up Sid as a form of safe use propaganda, peddling the idea that young people inherently know better than old people. You can do that. But you can also view these films as well-made auto-driven cinema. That is the distinction given to these films but not to Animal and movies like Dhurandhar. That is simply not fair because to me, the presence of an idea does not automatically make a film bad. Similarly, the The absence of an idea does not automatically make a film good, because every film has some kind of propaganda. Every filmmaker has some kind of idea that they want to share. Whether you agree with them or not is a complete distinction whether the movie is good or bad, but we simply do not seem to understand that. Because for us, first impressions is all that matters. We do not care if The Dark Knight Rises is a badly made film that misunderstands and eventually forgets about Batman. Why? Because we have fond memories of watching The Dark Knight on television and being completely enamored by it. So, we as viewers simply become incapable of handling any criticism towards Christopher Nolan as a director. And the same thing happens in the opposite direction as well. Because we have fond memories of watching the first Houseful, Dhamal or Golmaal, we keep giving their sequel chances and making them gross 200 crores. We keep telling ourselves, maybe this one will be good, but it never is. I don't know why. We just keep telling the first one was so nice, surely they can do it again. And then we watch the movie and it is terrible, and then we watch the next one and it is also terrible. And Houseful series has the audacity to release Houseful 5 in two versions, 5A and 5B. What the hell is even happening? And at this point, I don't even know whether we are fans or prisoners of this film. And the same thing goes for shows like Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma. We know the quality has gone down, that would rival the likes and the quality of Indian journalism, but we still keep watching new episodes every single day and keeping the TRPs high. We complain about it, we mock it, we talk about how it was not how it used to be, and then we watch the recent episode anyway, because maybe, just maybe, a good episode might pop up. And you know what the worst part is? Even after all this, we will still keep coming back to these movies, to this show, to this series. Why? Because our relationship with media is not always rational, and that is the flaw that exists especially to Indian audiences. Because sometimes we are not consuming the thing or the cinema itself, we are consuming the possibility of feeling the way we felt when we first watched it. And that is where nostalgia becomes dangerous. Because sometimes when somebody criticizes a movie we love, they're not just criticizing a movie. For us, they're criticizing a memory, and we internally think, how dare they? So why is it that we do not like certain content, are extremely vocal about how much we dislike it, and yet cannot help but watch it? Why can we not simply accept that something has both good and bad qualities? Well, maybe the answer lies in the fact because the movies to us and Indian audiences are a low energy activity. We do not always watch movies for the plot. We watch them for the vibes. We watch them to relax. We watch them because we like an actor. We watch them because the music is good and we listen to it on the radio. We watch them because we were just bored and needed something to watch during dinner, during lunch, during breakfast, whatever the time may be. We just needed the vibes to match. And that is why Indian audiences can watch a terrible movie and have a great time with it. And that is why directors will make technically brilliant films, but Indian audiences will just not give them the chance. Why? Because the vibe just did not match. And somewhere along the way, we started confusing our enjoyment of the movie with the quality of the movie. These are not same. Because to Indian audiences, now the presumption is that I enjoyed this film became this is a good film. I dislike this film, this is a bad film. And these are not the same things. A movie can be incredibly well made and still not be for you. Insert the Prestige, awful film. A movie can be badly written and still be immensely entertaining. Practically all of David Dhawan's older filmography. A movie can make you uncomfortable while you still keep watching it. Insert Obsession. A movie can contain ideas you disagree with but still provide some kind of a value. Practically all of the 2000s films with misogynistic traits, but I do enjoy them. But the problem is the internet does not really reward this kind of thinking. I mean, just look at this video. It will probably get 150-200 views. That's the problem. Because a normal opinion is not very interesting online. Nobody wants to see you say, I thought this movie was okay. Nobody's going to make a thumbnail out of that. Nobody's going to quote you on Twitter. Nobody's going to make a 30-minute response video called, why this person is completely wrong about this movie. But when you say, this is the worst movie ever made, Odyssey, a complete masterpiece, Odyssey, a complete trash, now that is when you create some kind of attraction and some kind of a value that the audiences can truly enjoy. Because now the problem that has started to creep up is the fact that internet has gradually taught us that an opinion is not valuable because it is insightful or thoughtful. It is valuable because it is extreme enough to be noticed. So now, whenever a new film is released, we do not simply watch it and understand it. We must pick a side. You must either love the director or hate him completely. You must either call the film a masterpiece or demand that the director be arrested. There is no grey matter or a grey area to talk about in between. And when you combine this insatiable greed to be relevant with the thinking capacity of a panda, you get a creature that can only see in black and white. And no, I'm not talking about the panda here. Because think about it. There is a reason why a color picker makes it so easy to select black and white. It takes a little more thought to create grey. So love your pandas, but give some love to the grey koalas as well. So with all the hullabaloo, all the talk that I did previous to this point, what can you and me do about this kind of situation? Well, simply put, when watching a movie, dedicate your efforts to the film as well, not just your time. Because as my idol Batuk Patel would rightfully say in this situation, आदमी को काम में दिमाग देना चाहिए, टाइम तो मैगजीन भी है. So no matter how strong your urge to do is, do not immediately open YouTube the moment you finish a movie or go on to Letterboxd to rate the film and search for somebody else to agree with your opinion, or think about thinking a video and watching a video and say, yeah, I agree with their point. That is exactly what I was thinking. Don't do that. Sit with the movie. Think for a while. Think about what worked for you. Think about what did not work. Think about what you enjoyed despite its flaws. Think about what you liked despite its strengths. Read the credits. Understand the efforts that goes into making a movie, a series, even a short story. Understand that there are actual people creating art. Except for the people who make those Bollywood comedy franchises, those deserve to be burned on stake. But hey, I digress. You can have your opinions. Because a movie does not have to be perfect for you to like it. It does not have to be terrible for you to criticize it. You can enjoy the good, you can criticize the bad, and you can do both at the same time. And this both is the part that we seem to have forgotten. And once you understand that you can have the good and the bad, maybe the grey will start existing. And maybe my second favorite detective of all time, Monsieur Poirot, would be proud to know that we finally decided to use our little grey cells. Hope this gets some kind of views. Hope you can understand and relate with the fact that we need to create some kind of a normal area where we can discuss about movies, where you can share thoughts about our books with complete normal manner, not pick a side every single time. So yeah, what did you think? Do you agree with these things or disagree with these things? Share your thoughts down below, and I'll see you next time.